When the President of the United States says, these aren't people, these are animals, you have to wonder, does he not believe in the spark of divinity, the dignity and worth of every person? We're all God's children. There's a spark of divinity in every person.
We're talking about MS-13. Their motto is rape, torture, kill. The victim was stabbed more than 100 times, decapitated, dismembered, and his heart was cut out of his chest and then thrown into a pre-dug grave.
The two young men shown here kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and shot a 15-year-old girl, sacrificing her in the name of Satan.
U.S. Marshals say the El Salvador native shot and killed a person in Texas, put the body in the trunk of a car, and lit it on fire. They say that's typical of the MS-13 gang.
Calling people animals is not a good thing.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year's. It is the 1st of 2026, and today on InfoWars we have a very special, very interesting case here. We have suspected illegals. A line arrested for hit and run killing of a young boy in Georgia. Now, I played that first clip because you know how the Democrats always sit there and say, oh, these guys are angels. We got Somalis stealing our money, our taxes. We have Somalis demanding their Muslim religion overtake America's constitution. We have drama around the world. Iran fighting for freedom against their dictatorship of Islam. Because they want this, they want the Shah back. They want their lives back. Now, whether or not it fizzles out or not, I don't know. I have no idea. But let's get into the story. So we have a 14-year-old run over by suspect who fled scene in. Oh, that might be different. Might be different. We got two male suspects are in custody following a hit and run collision that left a boy dead in Georgia. Over the weekend, according to the reports. The horrifying tragedy unfolding at around 7 p.m. on Sunday night in Savannah. Was that Marcus Andrew, 14, was riding an electric bike when he was struck by a driver of a vehicle who fled the scene of a WTOC reports. We got Anderson was pronounced deceased in a local hospital. Chatham County Police Department CCPD investigators identified a vehicle of interest and tracked it to a nearby Tybee Island, where they arrested two men on Monday. The suspects were identified as Miguel Engel Rise Castro, 32, and Alvin Ontario Ramos, 29. These are the suspects. Border Hawk, suspects illegally aliens arrested for killing a 14-year-old boy, hit and run collision in Savannah, Georgia. Marcus Andrew, 14, was riding a bike on Sunday evening. He was run over by the suspects who fled the scene. Authorities, and this is also makes you wonder if they had licenses in Georgia. At least that's what I would like to know. That's what I would like to know. I don't exactly see what color this suspect is. It could be black. Maybe we'll have Black Lives Matter jump out and start protesting the illegals now. They were both charged with willful obstruction of law enforcement and tampering with evidence. With a stronger charge could be filed. Investigators developed CCP chief Jeff Hardley said. Additionally, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has lodged detainers against both suspects, indicting they may be in the U.S. illegally. Illegal alien drivers continue to destroy American lives on a nearly daily basis. Let's see. We'll unmute. We'll play it.
In case you don't make it your everyday go-to website. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. A ton of great reporters over there who are dropping very important stories. So I highly recommend you add it to your everyday routine. Like Dan Lyman are putting up incredible stories. Dan just recently posted a story about the Department of Justice filing charges against 4 illegal aliens from Mexico who are accused of trying to stockpile guns by making false claims on federal firearms transaction forms. I wonder what a bunch of illegal invaders were looking to do with about 200 guns in Oregon. Joining me to discuss his latest report is Dan Lyman himself. He's one of the incredible reporters we have at Infowars.com, and he's going to break down the very latest in regards to this. Dan, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you here. A lot to dive into. We're hearing that these illegals wanted a lot of firearms. What the heck's going on over there?
Indeed. Great to be with you, Brianna. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yep. So this story, we got a lot to cover today. Interesting about the DHS bonus. I think that's a fun one. I personally am opposed to paying these people to leave our country, but I do understand these programs are being implemented.
Yeah.
And if the administration's claims about self-deportations are anywhere near true, then they've been wildly successful thus far, and we can only hope they continue in the coming years, because the more illegals that just leave quietly, even if they take $1,000 of our tax money from us, it's probably a much better alternative to more attacks in the streets and very expensive deportation operations and all that. So
Yeah.
I like to see what's going on here, even though I'm...
You know, I don't really see that big of an issue giving $1,000 to those that want to leave, but if they're leaving, we need to take fingerprints and make sure that they didn't commit any crimes while they were in America.
I'm kind of opposed to the premise of it. But turning our focus here to Oregon, interesting story out of there. The DOJ has filed charges, as you said, against 4 illegals. They just made their first appearance in federal court last week. And these 4 men, they're all in their 20s. It didn't say, actually, all 4 are from Mexico. I wanted to clarify, make sure we say where these people are from. And so the ATF was conducting audits, reviews of background checks, the basic form that you have to fill out at an FFL when you purchase a firearm anywhere in the country. And so you basically put in basic information, and just kind of, supposedly it's just to make sure that you don't turn up on a terror database, or that you're not a convicted felon, or that you're not taking serious drugs or marijuana, for instance. So on this form, they were reviewing the submissions from a particular FFL in Oregon in, let's see, it was in Cave Junction, Oregon. No name on the actual FFL. But what they realized was that
So they're from Mexico.
all use the same FFL to purchase
Cartel, maybe?
the same firearm over and over again. And so on this form, all these guys were checking or indicating that they had been born in Mexico, but they were checking a box claiming that they were U.S. citizens. And apparently it's a red flag when an individual continuously purchases the same weapon over and over again.
You know, I gotta say that's pretty bullshit. See, I ran into my own situation with buying a firearm, and I had to get all that fixed, and I won my case. I did. But how come this didn't come up? I mean, we're talking about a hit and run, not gun charges, right? At least that's what I thought.
Again, and that gets flagged for weapons trafficking. And so they started looking into these guys and found out that they had purchased nearly 175, if not more, weapons across the state of Oregon at various FFL.
Are you shitting me? My own constitutional rights were stolen from me, and I had to fight to stay free, and these guys were getting guns left and right. It seems like Georgia. Those people in Georgia need to be arrested that apparently were giving these guns to illegals. But again, we're talking about a hit and run, not guns. What's going on here?
Mostly the same weapon. It doesn't indicate what that weapon was, and that they were all in the country illegally. And so it looks like nefarious activities in Oregon with these illegals. And so they are facing serious charges, which include alien in possession of a firearm. You cannot possess a firearm.
They had guns.
Especially if you're an illegal alien.
Oh, shit. They had guns. in the car when they arrested him. Oh, that's some crazy shit. But I'll say again, the people in the government that allowed this to happen should face charges because they allowed this to happen, especially if they gave them a gun
and making false statements on ATF form.
It prevented me from getting one.
So troubling stuff. We can imagine what they were
Fucking
up to. Whether they were arming
Massachusetts.
their homies in Oregon or they were running guns back to Mexico. We don't know. But we're going to keep an eye on this story for sure.
Yeah, and I remember, and I'm trying to look for the update now, and I think we might have one actually. There was an illegal.
What's the update?
I think this was in Chicago. An Obama judge decided to say that the illegal was allowed to have a firearm and actually ruled in that way. This was last year. It looks like, though, the appeals court on Monday upheld the firearm conviction of a Guatemalan native who was illegally living in the United States for a decade, even though a majority of the court said that the right for non-citizens to bear arms could still be protected by the Second Amendment. So it's kind of like...
Are you shitting me? A judge said that an illegal can own a gun and it's protected by the Second Amendment, but my rights as an American are not protected by the Second Amendment? I mean, hell, all I did was get into a fight. I wasn't even given a felony, but because it was a violent thing, oh, you can't own a gun. You have to get a hold of Massachusetts and let them know it's been 30 years, 20 years. Release my record. Oh, man, that was the hell of a time.
It's open back and forth that they might actually have a right to the Second Amendment. I'm looking at this one now, too. This was back in the original ruling that came from the Obama judge was 2024. And that federal judge ruled that, of course, it's an Obama judge, like I said in the beginning, but ruled that the illegal, this is, I think, a separate person, illegal after coming to our country illegally from Mexico, that he was able to obtain a firearm, even though he was charged with possession of a handgun. So it seems to be a back and forth as these federal courts seem to work their way through it. It might actually make its way to the Supreme Court soon, I hope, so we can kindly get a grip on this, but it's whether or not the Constitution applies to illegal invaders is kind of the question that's circulating here. Again, it seems to be up for...
As an American citizen, no, it doesn't, but I yeah.
Everyone's kind of perspective. Dan, I'll let you respond to that, though.
Well, it's obviously these same judges would be enforcing crackdowns on the Second Amendment for American citizens.
Yeah.
So it's very troubling, but not surprising at the same time, given that the purpose of a system is what it does, and that is to arm illegal aliens who continue to harm American citizens.
Well, yeah. So the thinking of the Democrat, Obama judge, is to give guns to the illegals, so when the time comes to take over America, these illegals will just start coming out and shooting. So if you think about it, the Democrats are now, if this is the case, Democrats are starting to arm their army.
Since whether with weapons or with vehicles or with their bare hands. So it's just insane to think that an illegal alien would have any rights under the Constitution whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And Democrats want to pretend like it is.
It's their right.
It covers illegal aliens. And I mean, I truly believe it doesn't. But again, they say that it's quite vague. And we'll see it all play out. We'll see it all. We need it now, though, because at least we have a conservative majority, some say. Conservative majority, so we'll see how that all works out in the Supreme Court. But Dan, I want to kind of switch up gears a little bit because you have a bunch of other stories that I think are really, really important. This one, I think, is very important that we discuss. A man who reportedly confessed to brutally murdering a cab driver in New York, then tossing his body into a reservoir.
Oh, it's another
illegal alien.
It's another illegal alien. What do we do? The call is out. The Muslims, the illegals from Mexico area. It's time to start fucking up America while in the New Year's of 2026.
Prior arrest at the sanctuary state, obviously in New York. What's the latest on this one? Because this is a very interesting story that you guys have up right now on Infowars.com.
Yeah, it's amazing how often when you start scratching the surface on these stories, they just get weirder and more convoluted and really twisted. And so in this particular story, and that image that we just shared, the featured image on the article is him.
Like look at this. These are the articles that came out today, right? We got suspects illegals run over a kid, which is what this video is about. But apparently it's not just about that now. It's going to be about all the illegals that have done stuff from Sunday, and now we're talking about all this stuff. But we got father and son illegal, Allen's arrest in Louisiana. We got husband and wife jumped into Rio Grande with internet during human smuggling bust in Texas. Trump HHS freezes Somalian fraud. So they ain't getting no money. And we got just 5 hours ago, we had a trans covenant school shooter made pros and cons list before massacre. Wow, fucking disgusting.
Smiling broadly, grinning during his apprehension in the state of New York. So this guy was either is totally deranged or was very proud of himself for what he did, or is both. I'm guessing both. But anyways, so the story, the victim, ironically and terribly, is actually a legal immigrant from Ecuador, and he was a resident of Danbury, Connecticut, but he drove a livery car, a minivan at the moment of the crime in the state of New York, upstate New York, just north of the city. And so this illegal alien from Guatemala, if I remember correctly, he was known to the local taxi drivers because he frequently would catch a cab at the same train station in the Brewster area, I believe it was. And so this guy was well known, and he had actually taken several rides in the past with this Ecuadorian cabbie named Aurelio Zunio Orbez, and the suspect.
Yeah, I just did a real quick read on that next article. So it's some spicy meatballs. But this was under Biden. It's not a recent school shooting. This happened a while back.
Name is Santos Vasquez Ramirez. And so, anyways, in a prior ride, I assume sometime in the fall, this illegal alien from Guatemala got into a fare dispute with the cab driver and apparently held a grudge about the whole thing, so that the next time they encountered each other, the suspect went ahead and apparently, he confessed to this, he strangled the cab driver, drove his cab to a nearby reservoir, dumped the body into the water, and then drove himself to another train station, abandoned the vehicle, and hopped in to a train to flee the scene. And tragically and horrifically, a fisherman discovered the body of this cab driver floating in the water a few days later, and they were able to identify and launched a manhunt and eventually tracked down this suspect and took him into custody. And he is being charged with second-degree murder and robbery. And it turns out that this illegal alien,
and he's got a big old smile,
during the Obama years.
Oh,
he
shit.
Issued a final order of removal during the first Trump administration, never left the country. He has 3 prior arrests in the state of New York, at least 2 of them for DUI and 1 for criminal mischief. And yet was, of course, allowed to remain in the state, remain in the country, continue committing crimes, and of course went on to apparently commit a totally heinous crime against this man who is survived by his 4 children and their mother. Really a tragedy.
It's devastating.
Yeah,
it's devastating.
sounds like
smirk
it.
on his face. You want to smack it off his face, of course.
Yeah.
Because he knows that he's going to be in a system that's very favorable towards him. The empathy's going in the wrong direction in the state of New York.
Yeah, if Democrat gets in, they're probably going to let him go.
Always seems to go in the direction of actual criminals rather than the actual victims of these crimes. And yet again, here we are. I think it's an interesting twist too, the fact that this is a legal immigrant who he killed as well, so, or allegedly I should say. So just floating that out there. Dan, I want to get your take, because there's a lot of, and I'm going to let you run through all these stories, because there's a lot of stories in regards to the truckers who have been given, illegal aliens who've been given these CDLs. We got a lot of updates coming your way, specifically to even in a bus crash in Tennessee, which was granted the CDL license in the sanctuary state of New York again. So walk us through the latest. There's a couple of updates that you have for us on several different
we got a bus crash.
CDLs.
Yeah, it's amazing. We could probably spin out our own website just for crashes involving illegals, and possibly even just for crashes involving illegal alien truck drivers. I believe Laura Ingraham just said the other night that she's terrified to be out on the roads now at this point. And I don't blame her, because we're seeing day in and day out horrific horrific crimes that often end up with an American citizen dead or multiple citizens. A lot of times they're children. But in this story, just another example of a sanctuary state granting a CDL to an illegal alien. This illegal alien is from China, and he entered across the southern border in 2023, was dumped into the country by the Biden regime, granted work authorization, later obtained a commercial driver's license in the state of New York, and was living apparently in Brooklyn at the time of this accident. He was driving a tour bus outside of Nashville, and there was some stopped traffic on I-40, very busy highway, as you can imagine. And apparently, according to investigators, this driver of this bus, which thankfully was empty at the time, was distracted by a video on his phone, made no attempt to stop, and rear-ended a big rig, which then slammed into a big rig in front of it. So you can imagine just how violent this accident must have been.
Oh, wow.
And pushed the other big rig, the second one, into oncoming traffic. Another car ended up rear-ending the tour bus. So it was a huge pileup. And tragically, an American citizen, Kerry Smith, a 31-year-old trucker from Tennessee, was killed in this accident. So as we see here, another example of Americans losing their lives to illegal alien drivers behind the wheels of absolutely monstrous machines. And
the person that actually signed off on that illegal Chingchong China's one that signed the paperwork that allowed him to get the license, he should be arrested and thrown in jail for the murder as well. Accomplice.
Yeah, he was dumped into the country a couple years ago, and the state of New York. The last I saw, they're actually saying, well, hey, this isn't on us. He was provided work authorization by the feds, so it's on the feds.
That was under the Joe Biden administration.
Blame, but of course, it was a sanctuary federal government that allowed him in, and a sanctuary state that granted him this license, and now an American citizen is dead. Another horrible tragedy.
Yeah, and it just, I was going to say something, but it was bad. It just seems to be more like it's a pile up of stories, sadly. And then like you switch over to here and you see another one. I mean, we all recall that video in Washington State. Specifically, there's an update on this one that we just recently got to us. Washington State, sanctuary state again, doesn't work with ICE. But again, here we are. After being accused, I have to say, of killing someone in a horrific crash. This Indian who does not belong in our country was operating another semi, of course, and he plowed his vehicle, resulting in the death of, obviously, another, I believe they were Americans. But long story short, it looks like he was just recently released. What's the latest on this front? Because this is a big one. This caught national.
Oh, really?
It's just.
Got driver in country illegally released on $100,000 bond after fatal wreck in Washington.
So sad. Young father from Washington State apparently was driving. He was between two big rigs on the highway in King County, which is where Seattle is located.
Makes you wonder if if the Trump went there to get him, and if they released him after someone put a hold out. Then the people that released them, knowing there was a hold, the one that signed off on it, that person should be arrested as well. Treason.
And the big rig in front.
Helping the enemy of our people. If you come here illegally and you help that illegal, that is treason. Because all we want to do is send them back.
One of him stopped. He stopped in his Mazda, and the driver behind him, reportedly an illegal alien who also was dumped into the country, I believe in 2023, from India. Yep, 2023, from India. He made little attempt to stop, was going far too fast apparently, and he ended up sandwiching this guy's car into the big rig in front of him, and also his tractor mounted onto the top of this man's vehicle from behind and totally crushed him and killed him. He's survived by his two young sons, ages 1 and 4, and his wife. And this is another driver who came in through the southern border in 2023.
I really hope that when his kids grows up, man, they have a very strong foundation against illegals.
Was unleashed into the country, into California.
I know they're not going to like the India people.
There's so many of these stories that, like, the details are so similar.
Yeah.
And they all point back to, the Biden administration, the Obama
letting the motherfuckers in.
You just have to kind of remember where.
The problem is you had all those caravans coming through for the Biden administration. So all these people that we're catching, 9 times out of 10 of them, they're probably from those caravans.
They enter, and what year was it? And many of them entered in 2023. We saw what was interesting during that period. Of course, there were multiple points along the border that got hit really hard, and one of them was Lukeville, Arizona, and then, of course, the southern border of California near Jacumba, and a lot of the people that were coming in there were Asians. And so what we've seen here is the Chinese suspect, we've seen the Indian suspect, both of them entered in that general area into the United States. And so this driver,
look at all them,
all
those people,
many of these Indian
the Biden administration just let go.
Various violations or just outright terrible crimes are named last name Singh. Kamalpreet Singh was arrested on suspicion of vehicular homicide and ordered held on a $100,000 bail. Of course, ICE lodged a detainer, but Washington is a sanctuary state, and King County is the strong.
Gavin Newsom, he signed the paperwork. Go straight for the throat, bruh. He let him go by turning California into a sanctuary state. Arrest him. Get that son of a bitch.
Hold of that sanctuary state, and according to the latest updates,
free my state of California. Free the bear. Hashtag free the bear.
He's actually already been released, and they're not even sure if they're going to press charges. There were charges originally filed against him.
What?
Those charges, they're considering other charges, but in the meantime, this guy's back on the loose. And what I found very troubling,
already driving
in the story,
he's probably in Mexico by now,
playing out with many of these foreign truck drivers
or Canada,
who obviously aren't playing by the rules. This guy actually tampered with his logbook, according to investigators, and indicated that he was driving with a co-driver, but he wasn't. And if you're able to do that, you can essentially drive 24 hours a day if you want to. And there are very strict rules about how much sleep and rest a truck driver has to get before they can get back on the road in between their driving shifts. And if you supposedly have a driver with you, then conceivably you could run the truck as long as you want. So we don't even know how tired this guy was, if he was on any drugs possibly, because a lot of these guys will take drugs to stay awake and drive longer. So I mean, it's just this cascading effect of the Biden administration opening the borders, these guys getting work authorization, and then getting CDLs and getting on the roads and killing Americans.
Yeah, and you have no idea who these people are. You know, the report says he's
bruh.
25 years old. A lot of these illegals are lying about their age when they come into this country, or most because they come from countries that don't even really document any of this. Some of them don't even know when their birth date actually is. And so I look at a lot of these reports, and like you mentioned, the opening from all of this, his last name Singh, I have a feeling they're not giving us their actual information. So the fact that we're releasing these people makes it very, very hard for us to find them again. If we do want to press federal charges on him, it's going to be hard to find this guy. And so that's just the harsh reality behind all of this. And it's really, really concerning. But again, not surprising. I mean, there's no accountability to the Democrats that have advocated for this. And they have created havoc all across this country, but most importantly, devastation with the loss of so many incredible Americans who have lost their lives from their recklessness. And there's no accountability at the individual level here. So that's the reason why they don't fear any of this. They have no problem creating a, release on a $100,000 bond.
Man.
And you can literally take someone's life, and they just obviously think
just
that
to be let go in a Democrat area, man.
To have them post, it's really just infuriating, Dan. And it's just, I mean, I can't take anymore.
I'm telling you, dude, the only way to fix this in our own country, dude, is to arrest those that make these stupid ass laws. I mean, you can have your sanctuary state, dude, but you need to treat these people that are murdering American citizens the same way you would treat an American citizen that says boo-hoo to a black man. It's racist.
It's just so enraging that we allow these illegal invaders to come into our country, commit crimes against Americans.
Treason against the American people is what it is.
The justice levels, they always say there is no actual justice.
Yeah.
And they all sit there and comply again. He's innocent.
Dropping the charges, though.
I mean, it's quite obvious there's a lot wrong here, and you don't release someone like this because he is a threat to public safety. And so it's just gut-wrenching to hear these updates. And speaking of gut-wrenching, you have an article also up right now on Infowars.com, and I'll let you tell the details, but apparently primate meat was found at a Chicago airport.
Whoa, it's a monkey.
What the heck is this, Dan?
A different...
All right, so... Oh, man. This is like a multiple article, bruh. It's an African traveler caught with a primate meat at Chicago airport. Okay, so you guys You guys ever see what is it? Damn, what is that movie called? Give me one sec. We're just gonna play this, and I'll hunt the movie down.
Kind of gut wrenching, of course. And this is not by any means an abnormal story. This happens all the time at our airports. And but the photos of this one are just so stark. They're actually, the photos are so intense, even though it's just an animal, that Twitter actually censored CBP's post of these photos because they're just really disturbing. And then when we reposted them over at Border Hawk on Twitter, our post was also censored because it's just really hard to look at. But in many other countries, a desiccated, dried up primate or other types of rodents or reptiles are considered delicacies. And so bushmeat is banned to bring into the United States. You can't even bring in any sort of raw meat, of course, uncooked meats. And so this person, this traveler, was arriving from the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Outbreak. Outbreak is the movie that brought the monkey in. Yeah, it's Outbreak 1995, the carrier of death scene. Because in New York, when Obama was in office, they brought in a virus. And in the early 90s, they also brought in a virus.
And they're in their luggage. The agricultural inspectors found a variety. It was over 30 pounds worth of illicit foods and products that they were bringing in. But of course, the one that really caught everyone's eye was these dried up primate. I don't know exactly what subspecies or what it was, but looks pretty nasty, and it probably was going to be consumed. Although in some cases, these animals are actually brought in for religious rituals, satanic rituals. So, and as we pointed out in that article, this happens all the time. It also happens a lot in Detroit, where they have quite an interesting population in the area that might use that airport. But there was an instance in the summer, back-to-back days, where they seized really disturbing things coming in the.
Okay, so it was the Ebola virus with Obama that was brought in. We got Obama virus fighting and containing it. That was 9 years ago. Barack Obama addresses the Ebola outbreak. That was 11 years ago, so it happened apparently possibly twice. Obama warned the U.S. To prepare for a pandemic back in 2014. Obama. Yeah, no, it's scary, bruh. Scary.
Luggage from travelers coming from Africa as well. One traveler yielded their seizure yielded 11 pounds of rodent meat.
Look at how disgusted this guy. This is in Michigan. This guy is the new mayor for the Somalis.
They were coming in from Togo.
He can't even eat it. He's got to mix it with the rice. He's like, you gotta get some kind of rice up in this bitch.
Approximately 4 pounds apparently. So imagine about 12 of those coming in or so. Nasty stuff.
Nasty.
This is what happens when you allow tourists to come from the third world. I think that this travel ban definitely hasn't been spread wide enough, but these people shouldn't even be allowed to visit our country, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'll back that too. They should not be allowed to visit. I mean, this is absolutely disgusting. The fact that we allow people who eat bushmeat is something that we really need to work on here. This is the reason why. Oh, okay, no, actually it's not. I was going to lie. I was going to spread a deep state lie that they're the ones who spread these diseases around in our country. Some of these, remember when they were talking about COVID originally? Remember when they said it started at a market where somebody consumed bat? I mean, the reality of it is they eat garbage food and we let them into our country. I don't think they belong here in the first place. But again, they're not trying to assimilate or enjoy our customs. In fact, they're bringing their garbage to our country. And that could potentially bring and unleash a bunch of diseases. And I mean, this is just disgusting. Imagine thinking that this is something that's so good that you want to bring it to the United States to eat it like the rest of us do. What is it, like beef sticks and stuff like that? When we're going on a long flight, I bring a protein bar. That's what they think with this bushmeat. Dan, I don't want them here. And I probably up the amount to $5,000 if they'd all self-deport by December 31st.
Screw that.
But of course, DHS is being a little bit more fiscal responsible when it comes to all of that, and they're only doing about $3,000. So whatever. I guess it is what it is. But Dan Lyman, you're doing incredible work over at Enforce.com. So thank you for your endless coverage. We appreciate it, my friend. And
No, there you go, man. Well, I hope everybody has a good New Year's. It's the 1st, January 1st of 2026. Like and subscribe, whether you are on Kick or whether you're on Rumble and YouTube. Let's get these channels up and let's have an awesome new year. Let's not let it drag us down. We just got to get rid of the people that are here, have babies, get married, and start rebuilding our country. All right, Laughing Man out.